Form W-2 is used to report an employee's wages, taxes withheld, and certain benefits for the year. Employers generally need to provide a W-2 to each employee and file the required copies with the Social Security Administration. In this video, we'll walk through how to prepare and file a W-2 with TaxBandits for wages paid during the 2025 tax year and reported in 2026, including what information belongs in each major box of the form. Let's get started. Sign into your TaxBandits account and navigate to the 1099 W-2 dashboard. Then click Start New Form. TaxBandits will display the available forms. Under Form W-2, select W-2 Federal and State. Next, select the tax year you need to file. For this example, we're preparing a 2025 Form W-2, which reports wages paid from January 1st through December 31st, 2025. Click File Form W-2 for 2025 to continue. TaxBandits organizes the W-2 entry screen to follow the information reported on the actual form. You can start by selecting an existing employer from your address book or adding a new employer. The employer section contains information such as the business name, employer identification number or EIN, and address. Review this information carefully before continuing. If applicable, you can also indicate whether the business was terminated during the tax year. Next, enter the employee's information. Click Add Employee. Start with the employee's Social Security number. You can also enter an optional reference number for your own records. Then enter the employee's first name, middle initial if applicable, and last name. Enter the employee's complete address, including the street address, city or town, state, and zip code. You can also enter an email address and phone number. An email address is especially important if you plan to give the employee online access to their W-2 through the recipient portal. Once the employee's information is complete, save it and return to the W-2. Now let's work through the wage, withholding, and benefit information reported on Form W-2. The amounts you enter should come from your payroll records for this employee. Enter the employee's total taxable wages, tips, and other compensation that are subject to federal income tax. This is the amount reported in Box 1 of Form W-2. Keep in mind that Box 1 may not always equal the employee's total gross pay. Certain pre-tax benefits or contributions can reduce the amount reported here. Box 2, Federal Income Tax Withheld. In Box 2, enter the total federal income tax withheld from the employee's pay during the year. This is the federal withholding that will be reported to the employee and the federal government. Box 3 reports the wages subject to Social Security tax. For tax year 2025, Social Security wages are subject to the annual wage-based limit of $176,100. Because some types of compensation are treated differently for federal income tax and Social Security tax purposes, the amount in Box 3 may be different from Box 1. Enter the total Social Security tax withheld from the employee in Box 4. Make sure this amount agrees with your payroll records and the Social Security wages being reported. Box 5 reports wages and tips subject to Medicare tax. Unlike Social Security wages, Medicare wages are not subject to the Social Security annual wage-based limit. This means the amount reported in Box 5 can be higher than the amount reported in Box 3. Enter the total Medicare tax withheld from the employee's wages in Box 6. This can include both the regular employee Medicare tax and any additional Medicare tax withheld when applicable. If the employee reported tips to the employer that are subject to Social Security tax, enter those tips in Box 7. Box 8 is used for allocated tips. This generally applies to certain employees of large food or beverage establishments when tips must be allocated under IRS rules. Box 9 is not currently used, so no amount needs to be entered here. If the employer provided dependent care assistance to the employee, report the applicable amount in Box 10. This can include benefits provided through a dependent care assistance program. Box 11 is used for certain distribution forms or amounts associated with non-qualified deferred compensation plans. TaxBandits separates this area into Section 457 and non-Section 457 amounts. Enter an amount here only when it applies to the employee and the type of plan involved. Next is Box 12. Box 12 is different from most W-2 fields because it uses letter codes to identify specific types of compensation, benefits, contributions, or taxes. Select the appropriate code from the drop-down and enter the corresponding amount. If you're unsure which code applies, select See Instructions to open the Form W-2 reference guide. For example, Code D is used for elective deferrals to certain Section 401k plans. Code D reports the cost of applicable employer-sponsored health coverage. This amount is generally informational and does not by itself mean that the employee owes tax on the reported coverage. Code W is used for employer contributions, including employee contributions made through a cafeteria plan to a health savings account or HSA. Other Box 12 codes apply to different retirement plans, benefits, taxes, and compensation arrangements. Select the code that corresponds to the employee's situation and enter the applicable amount. Because Box 12 can affect how information on a W-2 is interpreted, verify both the code and amount against your payroll and benefits records. Next, review Box 13. There are 3 possible checkboxes: statutory employee, retirement plan, and third-party sick pay. Select statutory employee when the worker meets the applicable IRS requirements for statutory employee treatment. Select retirement plan when the employee was an active participant in a qualifying retirement plan under the applicable reporting rules. And select third-party sick pay when the W-2 is reporting qualifying sick pay paid by a third party. Only select the boxes that apply to this employee. Box 14 gives employers space to report other information that may be useful or required. What belongs here depends on the type of payment or benefit being reported, and in some cases, state or local requirements. Enter the appropriate description and amount when Box 14 reporting applies. After completing the federal portion, move to the Form W-2 State Information section. Select the employee's state. Enter the employer's state identification number followed by the employee's state wages, tips, and other compensation, and the state income tax withheld. If local wage reporting applies, select the type of local tax and enter the employee's local wages, local income tax, and locality name. You can add another locality when necessary. If the employee needs reporting for more than one state, select Add New State and enter the additional state information. When you've finished entering the employee's W-2 information, review all of the amounts against your payroll records. You can then select Save and Continue. If you're preparing W-2s for additional employees, Save and Add Another lets you move directly to the next employee. TaxBandits takes you to the Form Details page, where you can review the W-2s you've prepared. From here, you can view and edit forms before filing. You can also generate draft PDF or CSV files when you need an additional review of the information. Once you're satisfied with the form details, click Continue. If you've entered state information, TaxBandits determines the applicable state filing requirements based on the information provided. Review the state filing page carefully. Depending on the state, additional reconciliation or transmittal forms may be required. State W-2 filing requirements vary, so review the requirements displayed for the state you're filing with before moving forward. Then select Continue to Form Distribution. Next, choose how you want to distribute copies of Form W-2 to your employees. TaxBandits provides several options. You can choose postal mailing plus recipient portal access, have TaxBandits handle postal mailing only, provide recipient portal access only, or choose to handle form distribution yourself. If you select recipient portal access, make sure the employee has a valid email address. Choose the distribution method that works best for your business and employees, and then click Continue to review forms. Before filing, TaxBandits performs an audit of your forms. On the review page, you can download draft copies of your forms and a draft summary report to verify the information one more time. TaxBandits will also display any audit findings that need your attention. Remember, passing these checks helps identify potential issues, but it does not guarantee that a federal or state agency will accept the filing. Once everything is accurate, select Continue to Filing Summary. The filing summary gives you one final overview of the forms and services selected for the employer. You can view the forms and reports or make changes before filing. When you're ready, select the payer and click Add to Cart and check out. On the Cart Details page, review the federal filing, applicable state filing, and any form distribution services you've selected. You can choose to file immediately or schedule the filing for later when that option is available. Review your order total and filing selections carefully. When everything looks correct, click Complete Your Order to finish. TaxBandits will display its credit card usage acknowledgement before the transaction can be completed. Review the acknowledgement, and when you're ready to proceed, select Agree and Continue. Enter your card's security code and review the final order total. You'll also need to confirm that you're authorized to use the payment method and that you've reviewed the filing information. This is the final step before submission, so make sure the information is correct. When you're ready to submit the order, select Pay and Transmit. And that's how to prepare a Form W-2 with TaxBandits. Taking the time to understand each W-2 box can help you report employee wages, withholding benefits, and state information accurately while avoiding common filing errors. Meet applicable state filing requirements and manage employee copy distribution from one place. Visit TaxBandits.com to get started with your W-2 filing.